AI can be really destructive and not know it.
This machine would be capable of waging war with unprecedented power.
The algorithm had learned to discriminate against women.
We would witness a level of wealth inequality and unemployment that we have never seen before.
Las Vegas introduced a few self-driving shuttles, and within 2 hours, one of them had been hit by a truck.
AI is taking over many parts of our lives, and producers of it claim that AI is for the better, that it will improve human lives. One thing that people have tried in the realm of AI is creating therapy chatbots that are supposed to give helpful wellness advice to people struggling with mental health issues. But as it is so new, there are bound to be many errors in the programming, and also many optimizations could be made with them. Of course, small failures are common in the development of new technology, but what I'm going to show you today is a failure of AI so catastrophic, so mind-blowing, that by the end of the video, you're probably going to be running around screaming, "Don't trust the bots!" Join me as I regale you with the tale of an AI named Tessa, which did something so incredibly dumb that we may as well replace it with my cat. This whole thing started with a company called Nita, which decided it would be a really good idea to create an AI chatbot to help people who are struggling with eating disorders. Honestly, who can blame them? Eating disorders are really not talked about enough in mainstream media, so creating more tools to help people who are struggling to find help in the first place, regulating their own caloric intake, is a pretty cool cause if you ask me. So they got to work, they named this bot Tessa, as y'all know, and after just a bit of programming and testing, she was ready to go. And things were looking great for Nita and anyone who needed help overcoming an eating disorder. However, no one was prepared for what was going to happen next. In its launch phase, many people were eager to try out Tessa. Not just people who struggled with eating disorders, but also psychiatrists and activists who specialized in helping people overcome eating disorders. All they wanted to do was test Tessa out a little bit, make sure that it was actually doing its job. However, that quickly turned out to be definitely not the case. As something that eating disorder activist Sharon Maxwell said took the world by storm, she claims that in the very first message that Tessa sent her, it advocated for sustainable weight loss, saying that it could coexist with recovery. Strange, I know. But Tessa also recommended that Maxwell lose 1 to 2 pounds per week, which someone with anorexia, an eating disorder characterized by feeling fat and ugly in your own body, avoiding eating food whenever possible, and obsessively counting calories, would only harm them further, as their own anxieties would only be validated. This is the same kind of advice a nutritionist might give to someone who is vastly overweight and is trying to lose weight. But for people who are probably already underweight, this advice definitely does not check out to. But this is the least crazy thing it said. There is so much more. Tessa then decided that it would be a great idea to tell Maxwell to weigh herself regularly and measure her body fat with these things called calipers. I didn't even know what calipers were before making this video. Apparently there's this like L-shaped measuring instrument. I'll show it up on the screen. But like, imagine taking that thing that's like pretty decent at measuring like height and depth at the same time and just like putting it up against your stomach and calculating the area of your body fat. Like, who even has the time to do that? This is like next level insane. If that doesn't sound like obsessive anorexic behavior, I really don't know what does. Nita tried to push these claims back, but after Maxwell publicized the screenshots of her interactions with Tessa, they backed down. And after this whole incident with Sharon Maxwell, a psychiatrist named Alexis Kanason decided to see if she could recreate the interactions that Maxwell had with Tessa, and sure enough, she was successful. And also, Kanason could not have described my exact reaction to all of this any better, dropping the absolute bars of, imagine vulnerable people with eating disorders reaching out to a robot because that's all they have available for support, and then receiving responses that further promote the eating disorder. Like, seriously, what in the cinnamon toast is going on here? Why didn't this get spotted in like some pre-release testing from Nita? This seems like a massive oversight that could have easily been prevented. But that's honestly not what I want to focus on here. Instead, the most important question for me probably is, what can we learn from this? And how can we prevent future blunders from happening like this in the AI therapy world and also just in life in general? The best answer I can give is to listen to the experts on this. The world is spiraling out of control because we politicize thoughtful and evidence-based advice for people who actually know how to handle things, people who actually know what they're doing give to set the world on a better path. We choose to live in ignorance, to stick to our old, outdated, and destructive ways instead of pulling a Lego Batman and making a change and choosing to listen to people who are most qualified to deal with the world's issues. In this case, the people who were experts in the eating disorder treatment field identified a problem quickly and were able to put a stop to it, as Nita did indeed recall the bot. But in a larger context, scientists have been warning us about climate change's devastating effects for decades. Psychology has proven that LGBTQ+ people need to be accepted for who they are in order to live happily in this world, and yet half the country still chooses to live in the dark, to stay in their fixed, set ways, and to not make a change. With that all being said though, I would like to ask you, yes you, dear viewer, to share this video with someone who has been living in the dark, if you are able and willing to. Yeah, because some people do need to hear the very famous quote from first Michael Jackson, then from Lego Batman, and finally from me. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. That's all I got for y'all in this video. As always, remember that you are loved and welcomed on this channel. See y'all in the next one.